everyone and welcome to the Dunkelgrün podcast. This is episode 13 and today is Friday the 29th of September 2017 and as usually I am coming to you from Zurich in Switzerland. My name is Anna and you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Dunkelgrün. Today I wanted to pop in just with a quick little episode because actually I don't really have time to fully produce and edit a usual episode, so I'm trying to keep things short today and I will probably also do a little less editing. I wanted to say thank you to all of you who have commented on the last episode in which I was talking about lanolin. I really appreciated all your comments and inputs, and also I think the general request is that I will provide some more and in-depth chemical information about lanolin, and I will gladly do that. I just need to find time for it. I don't know yet when it will happen, but it will probably be an extra video, and then when it's ready I will let you know. Okay, so today I want to share with you a finished project and a work in progress, or actually kind of two works in progress, and some dyeing, and I will talk about two cards today. So let's get started. My finished project is the Etc. socks. Finally, I've managed to finish them. You have seen them already in the previous episodes. This is a gorgeous pattern by Verena Kors. The yarn is Ovis Etc. Kempisch Heideschaap sock, I believe. It's a non-superwash Dutch wool mixed with a little bit of nylon, and it has a very nice and sturdy feel to it. So this pattern and the yarn were sold as a kit by Hanna-Lisa Haferkamp, who is the project bag maker. This here is the lovely project bag that was part of this kit, and the sock yarn by Ovis Etc. as well as the pattern. So let me show you how that looks like. It's this awesome textured pattern here, and it looks a little bit like a cable, but it actually isn't. It's just ribbing with increases and decreases. Isn't that lovely? I really like these socks, and I also loved especially to knit a heel flap while knitting toe up, so that was really cool. And yeah, they are blocked, ends are woven in and all finished and ready to be worn. So if you like these socks, we have currently a knit along going on for this pattern. It's the Etc. sock cal. And you can find all the information in my Ravelry group, and there is a ton of prizes to be won in this knit along. So make sure to check it out because so far there are not a lot of entries yet, so your chance to win are really good. And I absolutely recommend the pattern because it's a lot of fun to knit. It knits up a little bit like self-striping because you have always a pattern repeat to look forward to, and so I very recommend these socks by Verena Kors. And the next project that is almost finished is my unicorn, which I am writing up the pattern for. So actually it is already in test knitting, and at this point also a huge thank you to all of you who have offered me to test knit the unicorn. I really regret that I cannot say yes to all of you because there have just been a lot of requests, which made me really grateful that so many of you liked this unicorn, because I know there are also other unicorns around that you could just knit. So thank you, and I am really sorry that I could just take a certain number of test knitters because otherwise I would not manage to do the organization anymore myself. So to all of those who are test knitting, I also want to say a huge thank you, and yeah, I hope it all goes well, and I hope that the pattern will be up by the end of October, in a month or so at the latest, maybe even earlier. So here is my little unicorn so far. It is all assembled, it's just missing a mane and tail, which I want to make a video for, so I am not doing it yet. I will only do it when I have time and good light, so probably the next couple of days. I'm away over the weekend, so I will not be able to do it on the weekend, but soon. So that's this little guy. I knitted out of DK weight yarn, and I knitted already last year such a unicorn and didn't write down the pattern, and this time I took a lot of time to really write down every little step and every stitch count and everything so that I can produce a pattern. And so far there have been already a couple of test knitters who have knitted through the draft and didn't find any technical errors. This is so surprising because there are so many parts here with the body and the legs and increases and decreases and short rows that I was sure there must be some mistake somewhere, because it's hard to write down everything correctly. But so far everything seems to be right. So that's it with my little unicorn for today. The next project that I have been working on pretty monogamously during the last 2 weeks or so lives in my Dark Hair Knits indigo dyed project bag, which I love. And it is my sweater. This project has been started a while ago during spring of this year, and I have put it down and it went into some kind of a hiatus. So let me try to show this to you. It's a pattern by Vera Sanon. It's the Fall Flower pattern. It was originally released as a mystery knit along, and here this little stitch marker, which also is from Dark Hair Knits. It's a little porcelain teapot. This marks where I stopped in about May this year. So I have finally finished knitting the body, and I started with the first sleeve. The yarn I am using for this sweater is the Malabrigo Arroyo in the Pothyon colorway, which, as many of you know, is one of my favorite colorways by Malabrigo for sure. And this yarn, as generally Malabrigo yarn, has this property that each skein is very different from the next, and that's why I have 4 skeins here, and they are all pretty different. Like, one of them has a lot more green in them and the other one has more red, and so it's really hard to knit on a sweater out of this yarn because you need to alternate skeins, and that's what I did throughout the whole sweater. I always alternate between 2 skeins, but then I stop one of them and join a third one, and then alternate between the second and the third for a while, and so on. And so I distribute the usage of each yarn throughout the sweater, and that's why it's sometimes a bit annoying, because you need to alternate yarns, you have a lot of skeins that you need to work with, and it's also not so portable and nice to work with. But I really want to get this sweater done. That's why I picked it up again, because I really like the design. It's super nice. And here we have, just under the arms, we have this reverse stockinette panel. I don't know if you can see that, and there is some shaping incorporated into it, some A-line increases from the bottom to the from the top to the bottom. And I wanted, at some point I was happy with how wide my sweater was getting. I didn't want it to get any wider, but I wanted to increase the width of that reverse stockinette panel even further. And so what I did here at the bottom, let me try to show you that, I instead of just increasing, I did some sort of a twisting the first and the last stitch, and then increase the number of purl stitches in this segment. I will write this how I did this in my project page so that you can read it up. It's a bit hard for me to describe with words. And yeah, I'm planning to put some buttons here on this fake button band. I have a cool idea for that. And also what I ordered, and I hope that it will arrive soon, is a leather tag with my logo on it, which I can put at the bottom of this sweater as like a tag for my own work. So this is what I'm working on right now. And now let me show you some things that came out of my dye pot. I have been wanting to knit an exploration station shawl in forever. Since the first pattern was first published as a mystery knit along, I have actually purchased it, but I didn't have time to knit along in the mystery knit along. And then when I saw the final result, I really loved the shawl and I always wanted to make one, but I wanted it to be perfect and special in the way the colors are playing together, and so I don't know, it was always postponed. But now, finally, I have dyed some yarn for that, and it's these yarns here. These here are all dyed with natural dyes. The browns, these two guys here, have been dyed using walnut leaves and the husks of the nuts. Actually, I have some light on here, which you probably can tell because outside it's really dark, and it makes the dark brown look a little lighter than it actually is. It's a little bit darker than it looks. And then to go with this, I have dyed some indigo blue and onion skin yellow. And this onion skin yarn, I have also dipped it very quickly into the dye bath of the walnuts, because onion skins make a really vibrant yellow and I wanted it to be a little more muted just so that it will match well. And I'm absolutely happy with how this turned out. So this is going to be my exploration station. And now comes the big news. We are co-hosting a CAL, or I am co-hosting a CAL together with Marina from the Strawberry Patches podcast and Marina Toys. If you don't know her podcast and her amazing dolls that she is making, please go and check her out. She's just wonderful and she's such a lovely, adorable person. So Marina and I are co-hosting this CAL, and the goal is to knit something out of your own hand-dyed yarn. You can use any kinds of dyes that you come across or that work for yarn, and you can knit or crochet. You can also spin fiber and then knit something out of it. It just needs to be your own hand-dyed. And actually this CAL idea, I have announced it on Instagram and on Ravelry already, and a lot of people have offered or have expressed interest already. And we have already pretty good chatter going on in the thread on Ravelry, so go over if you're interested and check it out. The timeline for this will be pretty long. We are starting on the 1st of October, which is this weekend, and it will go all the way through January 1st of next year. And that is to give people just enough time, people who have never dyed before, to give more time to dye something. And if there is not enough time for everyone to finish their project, we might also prolong it still, because there's also Christmas in between and that can be a busy time for some people. So yeah, come over and join our self-dyed knit along, no matter if you're an experienced indie dyer or a very beginner novice dyer, it doesn't matter. We are going to have some fun with dyeing and knitting our own hand-dyed yarns. Look who is making a special appearance here. This is my little cat Lila. Well, she's not so little anymore, she's pretty big and naughty, and she doesn't want me to podcast. Lila. She wants to be cuddled. So let's keep her here on my lap. Maybe she wants to stay, maybe not. And then I have another thing out of my dye pot. This is the skein of sock yarn. This is obviously not naturally dyed in this neon green, and it is a not very typical dyeing technique and colorway for me, if you know me. So this one I dyed using the solid powders, which I usually don't do because I don't like to speckle with solid powders so much. But this here is gonna be for a pair of socks for my sister's boyfriend, and I hope to make them for him for Christmas. And his favorite color is neon green. And I have this Jacquard Chartreuse is the name of the color of the dye that is neon green. And I just used this dye powder and black for also by Jacquard and the dark green by Ashford. And I just speckled these three dyes onto the yarn in one of those large baking pans, metal baking pans, from IKEA. And this is how I did it, and then I heated it, and you can see that it's not as defined as speckles by professional indie dyers are, because I'm an impatient person and this dyeing technique is not really for me because I stir the yarn around. So yeah, but it still is pretty speckled and crazy, and the color broke also to give some neon yellowish here. So actually I think that is going to be a pretty cool pair of socks, and I think he's going to like them because he likes neon green. And I'm also looking forward to knitting with it, even though I am not wearing these kinds of colors. So yeah, that is it for today. Oh, maybe you want to know what I am wearing here. Of course you want to know. I have worn this already in the first episode of the podcast, and this is my campsite cardigan, which is made out of Malabrigo Rios in the Tormenta colorway. I love this cardigan. I think it's one of my most versatile cardigans that I have made. It has a tubular bind off here at the sleeve, and yeah, I really like the color. It goes with everything, and now the weather is there again to wear this cardigan, so I'm looking forward to wearing it again. And now I am signing off because I have to prepare my trip to Berlin. Today I will fly to Berlin to the Berlin Knits Yarn Festival, and tomorrow I will attend a class with Jochi Locatelli. It's called Approach to Sweater Design, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I will try to take some videos of the festival, and I am very looking forward to meeting people. I'm super curious how it's going to be. It's my first time going to such a big yarn festival. I know it's not really big compared to what happens in the US, but for me it's pretty big. So I am extremely excited and looking forward. And if you see me there, please come over and say hi. I would like to meet you. And yeah, to all the others who are not at Berlin Knits, I wish you an amazing time, and I hope that I will find time to podcast again soon. The next couple of weekends are all pretty planned out, so I don't know yet when the next episode is going to happen. But until then, I wish you all a lovely time and happy knitting, and I hope you're doing well. Bye!